Fast food is normally a topic that I rather enjoy. In this case, I'm going to get a little angry about it in a minute. Let me tell you what's been going on here in this fight. That's actually happened for over the last 2 years. A lot of fast food workers have been going on strike. They've done multiple lawsuits. Part of the reason is wage theft. So a lot of companies make them buy their own uniforms, which is against the law, right? They make them work extra hours. In fact, the National Labor Relations Board recently ruled against McDonald's. McDonald's was saying, oh, that's the franchises. I got nothing to do with the franchises. But they were able to show, no, in fact, they do have a lot to do with the franchises. In fact, McDonald's oversees their labor costs, and then we'll send them a warning, your labor costs are too high. And then the local franchisee will then say, okay, all of you workers, go off the clock, but keep working. But that's illegal. You're basically making them work for free. You're stealing their wages from them. That's what's called wage theft, right? And you do it systematically. So McDonald's lost at the National Labor Relations Board, so they got a new strategy, which I'm going to tell you about in a second. But first of all, let me give you more context as to how significant a problem this is. 9 in 10 fast food workers report wage theft. 9 in 10. So it's an overwhelming problem. To give you a sense of how disparate the treatment is of workers as opposed to executives, the industry pays corporate CEOs 1,200 times more than it pays the typical worker. Now, if you think, well, I mean, I get it, the CEO is really good and he deserves it, and but they barely made any profit. That's why they can't pay the workers. If they paid the workers, they wouldn't make any money. Last year, McDonald's made $5.6 billion in profit. They've got plenty of profit. They just choose not to share it with the workers, even if they make those workers continue to work and, in a lot of cases, not pay them. Okay? So let me give you, again, a sense of how bad a problem it is. Let's take a state like California, which actually has a lot of protections, let alone the states that don't. So imagine the rest of the states. In California, where labor law is robust, Think Progress explains, workers have less than 1 in 5 chance of recovering lost wages, even when they prove that they were robbed and win a judgment for restitution from the state. Wage theft steals more money each year than every bank robbery and store holdup in America combined. So it is literally the biggest form of theft in America. It happens to 90% of fast food workers. And even when you prove you were robbed, you only collect 20% of the time. That is egregious, right? So now McDonald's and the fast food industry overall, they're caught. They got a ruling against them. They have been doing it. There's evidence. And now the workers are striking. So what are they going to do? They're going to do the oldest trick in the book. Go to your bought politicians in Washington and get them to rig the system for you. So here comes the report on that. The International Franchise Association is flying fast food store owners and other franchisees into Washington on Tuesday to drum up congressional opposition to a recent legal decision that could make corporations liable for how franchise employees are treated. Wait a minute. I thought you guys were the ones that were against government interference. All of a sudden, what are you doing? You run to the government to get your favors. And when they do that, who are they going to go to? Of course, these guys. Speaker John Boehner and former Republican Governors Association head and Mississippi Governor Haley Barbour are scheduled to speak to the group, and the paper reports that top Senate Republicans will introduce legislation targeting federal labor regulators in general later this week. Now, drop it. This is exactly what's wrong with our government. Look at these guys. We're in the wrong. The facts are in. The ruling is against us. Who cares? We bought all these politicians. We're going to go tell them who they work for. Okay, those guys we pay. Okay, those are important people to pay. You go get your corrupt congressman like John Boehner, get your former head of the Republican governors, Haley Barbour, and these fat cats walk in and they say, crush our workers for us. Allow us to continue to do the biggest theft in America. They say they're pro-business. How about the guy who's working for that business? You see, in the end, it was supposed to help us. The idea is if you're pro-business, that it creates a good environment for business that allows you to get employed, and hence it's good for the American people. Except we lost that link. Now you're employed, oftentimes you work, and they don't pay you anyway, while they take home billions of dollars. And when they get busted, what do? They love government interference. They hate the free market. They hate negotiating with their workers. So they just go to their bought politicians and say, all right, just make this problem go away from me. Reverse the ruling, make legislation, rig the rules, rig the free market, kill the free market, do crony capitalism. Gimme, 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 gimme. Let me continue to steal from my workers. And of course, the Republican Party is there to oblige, oftentimes the Democratic Party too, but as you see in this report, it is clearly the Republicans they ran to, clearly the Republicans that are introducing legislation and can't wait to do their bidding, because that's their boss. That's the guy who signs their checks. God damn it, let's get them all, okay? That's why we started Wolfpack. Let's go get the sons of bitches. If you allow this system, you know what's gonna happen? They're gonna win. I'm going to come back here in a couple of months and I'm going to do a story about how the Republicans wrote a piece of legislation. Oh, the Democrats pretended to fight but then gave in, and it turns out it became law and they overruled it, and their workers get nothing, and they continue to do the largest theft in America. It dwarfs all other thefts combined. It's not to help the American people. It's to rob the American people. Get up, get up, get up. Wolf-pack.com. If you don't get money out of politics, well, all those politicians, of course, are going to do the bidding of the people paying them. And it's these giant corporations that are paying them. And that's why they crush workers all across America. Because they don't represent you, they represent these guys. You got to get money out of politics. It can be done. From the first day that they protested in the streets, the suffragist movement, it took just 7 years to get an amendment. Women couldn't vote. They had no chance, they had no hope that they could possibly win the right to vote when they couldn't vote in the first place. Can we do this? Hell yeah, we can do it. We already won in California. We already won in Vermont. We're on the march. Whenever we go anywhere, we get literally people in legislative offices saying, we are scared of your mountain army. We just had somebody in Washington tell us secretly, it's a liberal group. It's a liberal group that says, we tell people in Washington we're not like Wolfpack. Because Wolfpack is dangerous. Goddamn right we are. We're dangerous to these sons of bitches that have been stealing your money all along. That go run to their John Boehners and Boehners and Haley Barbers and say, oh, okay, now you Republicans, conservatives, real conservatives out there. You say you hate crony capitalism. First of all, you vote for every top crony capitalist. The leader of the Republicans in the Senate is Mitch McConnell, the leader, the greatest example of crony capitalist ever. But you say big government sucks, big government is corrupt. I agree with you. Who do you think corrupted them? This story shows you this is exactly how they get corrupted. They sign big paychecks, McDonald's does. Oh, here's a tiny percentage of our $5.6 billion. I don't want to pay my workers. I'll pay John Boehner instead. I'll pay Mitch McConnell. I'll pay Haley Barbour. And they will go and pass laws and rig the system so the workers and the American people are crushed. Aren't you goddamn tired of that system? Even if you're a conservative, you're a liberal, you're a libertarian, doesn't matter. You got to join us so that together we are strong, and yes, so that they are scared of us, so that we can fix this system. Wolf-pack.com. It's time right now.